India's 9-year economic cycles, 2004, 2003, 2004, 2012-13, and 21-22. I will put in data, but more important, I'll tell it to a story. So going back to liberalization, India started liberalizing in July 1991. At that point of time, believe it or not, India had only 3 weeks of forex reserves. And the forex reserves were $1 billion. Today, India has got $600 billion. Gold was mortgaged to Bank of England. We were the Sri Lanka of 2022 in all respects in terms of the economy. We were considered a basket case. We were forced to do reforms by the IMF. Not that we love to do reforms, because we didn't have any money. So we believed we had to depend on what IMF would give us. So we actually did it because we were forced to. In fact, there was a club called the Bombay Club, led by Rahul Bajaj and others. The father of Rajiv Bajaj, the old man, who's no more today. They opposed the reforms at that point of time. Nobody liked the reforms because it was basically taking away their monopoly. You see, subsequent to what happened, one reform, when the first budget happened, Sensex was around 1400 and Nifty was not there, NSE was not there. NSE came only in 1994 Deepavali. You see, in those starting time, the reforms were really what we call path-breaking reforms. Today, we talk of some tweaking a rule here and there as a path-breaking. Just look at the kind of reforms which we did. Apart from opening up our economy in 1991 and the second budget of 1992, we rationalized taxes, we rationalized excise, we made rupee, we devalued the rupee, and many other things in the first budget. We really opened up to the world at that point of time. Subsequently, every single year, we did fantastic things. Like 1993, we gave permission to the private sector mutual funds. 1994 was the establishment of NSE. 1992, we gave SEBI full powers. Before that, it was control of capital issues. So one could never issue shares at premium. So only since 1992, one could issue shares at premium. Then in 1995, India got the internet ahead of China. And 1995-96, we got the mobile phone. And 1997 was a path-breaking budget because we rationalized taxes further. In fact, that was called the Nobel Prize budget. In fact, those taxation modification and simplification is there even till today. 1998, we got the first set of the foreign cars. You had the Fords and General Motors and coming in. 1998 also saw DMAT, for instance. Physical shares became, we were able to, dematerialize at that point of time. So that was 1998. And then, in 1999, for instance, we had the internet boom. And so the tech companies all really came into the fore, the Infosys and the TCS of the world. So that was 1999. And then in the year 2000, we had the National Highway Policy, 2001, private sector insurance, 2002, what we see today, the new India of malls and the multiplexes and the private TV channels came in the period between 1995 and 2002. So that was an amazing set of reforms. Every year, some significant reforms took place. So one would have thought that, India should have been on a path of growth, and therefore the Sensex should have just taken off. But you see, the GDP growth in 1991 was just 1.1%. Even in 1995, they had pushed it to 7.6. But then it started dropping to 6%. Inflation was very high, more than 10% consistently. It was as high as nearly 14% in 1991, 13.5%, 14%. So we had fantastic reforms. We had, inflation coming down, and we had a GDP growth, a steady growth. But something was missing. So we will now find out what it was. So anyway, 12 years, there was really no growth in the market. The Sensex in 1992, it peaked out in 4,500, 4,500. Harshad Mehta peak, it's called. And then in Sensex in 2004, in May, it bottomed out May 17, bottom was around 4,200. So which means if you bought Sensex or if you come into the market and bought at the peak of Sensex, of course, there were no futures and options that time. But what I'm saying is for 12 years, we really hardly saw the Sensex going up. It did go up in 1999, but that was for a very short time, about 6-7 months, because of the dot-com boom. So we talk today of, in 12 days, if the market doesn't move, we think it's a flat market. In 12 months, if it doesn't move, we think it's a flat market. I have lived through 12 years of a flat market. Okay. Now, once again, I'm welcoming my co-host Vipin and Vinay, who is the moderator, both of my very good friends. My name is Vijay. Have been in the market since 1991 and survived to tell you these three stories. So let's dive in to the topic. So these economic cycles, they were what you can call a decadal cycle or a 9-year cycle. For convenience purposes, I put it as 9-year cycle. You can take it as a decade. Basically, we had every decade an economic cycle. So now, after this 1991, 97, then you see the economy went into a funk, even though reforms were there. Until 2003, 2004, nothing was really happening in terms of the markets. But there are a lot of things happening underneath, which I mentioned to you about the highways, the infrastructure, the private television channels, the emails and DMAT and futures and options coming in 2000. So there are so many things happening. Yet, you see, when we look back at 2004, for instance, one would have thought that nothing is happening for 12 years with all these reforms. What can we expect? So if you in 2004 January, the Vajpayee government uh, had a brainwave which said that instead of having the elections in September 2004, we will have it in beginning in March, April of 2004, because they were very sure that their campaign, which they call the India Shining campaign, which of course was more towards the upper middle class and middle class, and they felt that what they saw among the upper middle class and prosperity around the corner or around every corner with what their eye went through. So they believed that why can't we have the elections early so that we will have a fantastic majority. So they were looking for a sweeping majority of about 300 plus seats. They were very confident about it. But the market, in its true wisdom, peaked out almost on the day when they announced the elections, somewhere in that week when they announced the elections. So that was in 2004. Uh, where you see the market peaked out around 2010 or something. The Nifty peaked out in around 2010, and it came down to as low. Where is the number? Yeah, it came down to as low as 1292 on May 17th. So you had a 36% drop in that 5 months, January to May. So that was one of the fastest bear markets I have seen. Of course, the fastest is the 2020 bear market, which was hardly there for a few months. But this also was one of the shortest. Of course, there was one other short bear market. If you define bear market as 20%, one such happened in 2006. But you see, when the bear market happened at that point of time, all of us believed, you see, that the market cannot go up because one could see that the support for the NDA at that point of time was dwindling, and it was revealed through various these opinion polls. Those days, exit polls were allowed soon after the first round of counting. So every round of not of counting, sorry, every round of polling. So there was, I think, six session polling, six tranches of polling, and every round one could see that India was not doing well. Not that UPA, which was the other side, were doing any better, but they were losing their share, you could say. So from 375, the people started projecting that they'll get 325, 300, and so on and so forth. So it was very easy to short during that time. We were very bearish. We thought that if India goes, then the market will collapse. So therefore, anyway, because on the other side you had an Italian lady and a blue turbaned gentleman who had no roots, really speaking. And we were very sure that a suave guy like Vajpayee could have handled coalition. Congress never handled coalitions. So we were very confident that the easiest thing to do was shorting, because there's nothing which was positive at that point of time. So we happily shorted and shorted and shorted. So much so many amateur people came into the market, and their aim was to only short, because the markets were not going up. Yet underneath there was something changing, which none of us noticed, because we looked at only the stock prices, and stock prices were down. People on the the pundits or the experts who came on TV said this market is going to go down, somewhat similar to what we are seeing now. And we were happy because we shorted and then we made money. Incidentally, there was a NDTV program called the 230 Factor, which was run by this gentleman. I forget his name now. That guy, why 230 Factor? Because at 230 people used to come and sell heavily, somewhat similar to the 2 o'clock factor right now. There's no program called the 2 o'clock factor today, but there was a 230 factor. Invariably at 230 onwards, you will see selling every single day. So it was good fun. We used to wait till 2:30, like a lot of people wait till 2 o'clock now, and then heavy selling, and people used to make good amount of money, including us. So it was so easy to make money by shorting. Then came the election results, and then it was found that UP had just got a little more seats than NDA, and they're tied up with communists, and communists were anti-market. So that was it. I mean, there is no way the market can go up now. You see, Vajpayee has lost, and Congress has come with communists who are now going to dictate, because they've got 64 seats, which was huge. So we were very sure that now the market is gone. And on May 17th, for instance, the market had a double down circuit. And we had Deena Mehta, who was the president of the Bombay Stock Exchange, ex-president of the Bombay Stock Exchange, who she came on TV and she said that all the contracts should be cancelled, because bulls can't take this anymore. You see, you can't make the bulls collapse. So can you imagine somebody coming, if the market comes down, if somebody says, the stock exchange president comes and says, no, you cancel the contract because we can't take loss. That was what happened. And she said that. And lo and behold, that was the bottom of the market. That was the bottom of the market since then. So what did we learn from this? We learned only one thing, that you see, we had so much of negativity. We had whatever news you can think of bad, like politically it was bad. We had the NDA versus the UPA supported by communists, which was a no-go as far as the people in the market was concerned. And here the president of the Bombay Stock Exchange coming on TV and saying that please cancel the contracts, because we cannot handle this kind of a loss. So obviously you will believe that you should be shorting the markets, because the market is gone. In no way are we doing it. But underneath the market was showing us something which we were refusing to see, just like what we are seeing today. We are refusing to see the green shoots. We refuse to see the green shoots then. If somebody had told us that the Sensex will go up maybe 20%, 30% in the next 3-4 years, for 12 years it did nothing. So we would have laughed at him, and we did laugh at people who were making bullish comments. We thought the bulls are fools, just like how people think today that the bulls are fools. And that was the tipping point, the 2004. And yet, in less than 4 years, between 2004 and 2008, Sensex went up from 4,200 to 21,000. 4,200 to 21,000, 5 times. No, but what we didn't get in 12 years we got flat. 5 years we got, for 4 years we got 5 times. Can you imagine what kind of the bull market it was for 4 years? Amazing bull market. Quite a few of us were still stuck thinking that no, it'll come down because communists are there and all that. And we missed quite a bit of the bull market. Let me confess that. And this is the story. That we were struggling for 12 years. The best 12 years of our lives went in struggling with the market. We're all bulls, we started with. Then we got so disillusioned and we became bears. And we could not get out of our bearish mindset, even though the prices told us it wants to go. Because we always believed the fundamentals are there. That is bad. This is bad. This is not good. We always found that those are all history. There's nothing. The prices were telling us that just I don't want to go down. So that was what happened in 2004. And then if you go back and see in the GDP, for instance, took off from 2003. It went up to close to 8%, 7.8. and in 2005, 6, 7, we had close to 10% GDP. Inflation came down, and there was prosperity and growth everywhere. Of course, in 2008, again, we collapsed, and then started a downtrend. 2009, effectively, the GDP showed higher number because you see it was on a lower base, and same thing with 2010. And by 2011, everybody had lost hope all over again. So the first cycle, which we saw, where for 12 years we did nothing, and then suddenly we took off, and then we went nowhere after 2008. Actually, the index of 2008, Sensex, for instance, crossed only in 2014, though the Nifty did cross briefly in 2010 November. So that was the end of this one cycle. So now you come to 2012. 2012, again, people had no hopes. We had a wonderful baggage of economic reforms, and things were working fine. But that time there were redemptions from 2010 onwards. There are huge redemptions from the local domestic mutual funds. In 2007 to 2009, FIS sold left, right, center almost every month, whereas DIS bought every month, just like what we are seeing today. But they held on till 2010. And 2010, April, May onwards, the locals started selling. Why? Because they started getting their index prices. They thought like that, because the index went up to 6,350 in 2010, a very rapid move. But many of the stocks did not go up, of course, just like what may happen this time around. So we had this situation where people started selling. So by 2011-12, there was again a problem in the market, and whatever we saw in terms of autos, which came in 1997-98, they slumped. The auto index, for instance, collapsed, and somewhere in 2013, for instance, the auto index was about 4,350. Here is the second story. So I was a very aggressive trader. I was also a broker on the stock exchange. Today I'm no longer there. I'm retired. But at that point of time, I had about 5 branches, one in Mumbai, and 2 in Chennai, and 1 in Bangalore, 3, and our head office. So I was managing it for my friends because I was qualified to manage it. So I could see it, that kind of depression everywhere. But I believe that sooner or later this depression will get over, because I strongly believe in the DNA of India, whether you may call it patriotic or nationalistic or jingoistic. But I believe that India's DNA. We started off with $1 billion in 1991. Everybody had written us off. Today we have $600 billion. Obviously, something must be right in our DNA, right? So therefore, it was 2013, and let me reveal to you a very interesting one. At the 2012-13, the GDP growth was dropped down to an abysmal 5.5%, whereas it was just about 10% about just 2 years before, double digit. And so there was again no hope in hell, because it was UPA 2, and the Prime Minister was being attacked left, right, center by Kejriwal and party. So there was gloom and doom everywhere. But then again, I was reminded of what happened in 10 years ago. In 2002, 2003, there was doom and gloom, but we came out of it. In 1991, 92, there was doom and gloom. We came out of it. So I believe that we'll be third time lucky. So one day what happened, you see, especially the autos. See, when you look at the markets, you will have to look at 2 indices. One is the auto index, and one is the bank index. These are the 2 barometers for the stock market and economy. So whenever a foreign investor comes into India, he looks at these 2 indices. If he thinks that these 2 are doing well, more than the stock prices, if they companies are doing well, then they would like to invest. This is what I have understood when I have dealt with foreigners and large mutual funds. That's how they look at it. So what was happening in 2012-13? So there is this company which makes heavy commercial vehicles, number 2 in the country, and their share had peaked out at 40 rupees in 2010. And by May 2012, it had fallen down to 33 rupees. And in August 2013, it was trading somewhere around July, it was trading around 20 rupees. So I was very keen to look at buying autos, because I believe that the next cycle, it will be the cycle of the autos. So what best to buy? because I didn't trust Tata Motors so much. So I trusted this. I thought, let me buy the truck companies rather than. So in truck company, I thought, let me leave Tata Motors because it's also into passenger vehicles. So let me go and buy the second best company in that second biggest company. And I studied that company, and I found out that that company was now running on one shift instead of three shifts. They've gone to two, and then they've gone to one, and they were working only 4 days a week, which means 3 days a week they were idling. And then I also came to know because it was a local company in Chennai. So I had worked with that company in my previous avatar as a market researcher. So I knew people in the company. So the MD of the company had taken a 40% pay cut. So then I realized that this can be the worst thing which can for the bottom. This is the bottom for the company. So I began to follow that particular company, and everybody, all the technical analysts said 18 rupees is the support, and 158 broke support. And it went to some 17 or 17 half or 16. So immediately I called up all my clients and I told them, put all your money into this particular company. So they said, what nonsense you're talking. I mean, it is broken support on CNBC. They're saying it is broken support, it collapse and all that. So I said, if you're looking for 3 years, you buy this company. If you're looking for 15 days, obviously, then you have to short sell and try to make money. All my investors, like me, were all long-term guys. So they said, okay, we will trust your instinct and we will go ahead and buy this. So we bought it at 17, then it went to 16. We bought it at 16, then it went to 15. We bought it at 15. Then they started getting jittery. They said, what is this? Your assessment is very, very poor. So I told them, see, this company has, just shut for 3 days. The MD and many top officers have taken a 40% pay cut, and this is India. This company, if it does well, India does well, or if India does well, this company will do well. I believe India will do well. So therefore this company has to do well because it has got a fantastic management, and I know about this company through and through. But the price is not telling that. The price is saying that it wants to go down. As far as the technical analysts are concerned, so they're happily short selling. So I was mocked by people that why have I chosen this? I told them I have to choose for 3 years. I'm not choosing it for 3 months. So one of my friends, my senior in Indian Market Research Bureau, he called me one fine day and told me that he's got a uncle in Chennai. Why don't I go and meet him? And he wanted to invest in stocks because he had got some money by selling some real estate. So me and my wife trudged along to that uncle's house, and so the uncle welcomed us, and then he asked us. He said that I got 50 lakhs. So I can spare 50 lakhs out of 5 crores which I made out of real estate. So 10% I want to put it in the stock market. Can you advise? So I said, sir, definitely I can advise. But I will recommend only one stock. So he said, are you expecting me to put 50 lakhs in one stock? I said, that's what you should do. Because if you believe in the stock, you should put in one stock. Why put in many stocks? Because I very firmly believe. That is how I invest. I invest not more than 2-3 stocks anytime. So I told him that if you want, you can put in 2-3 stocks. I can recommend, but if you given a chance, you give me 50 lakhs, I'll put in only one stock. And in 3 years' time, this particular stock will go up by 3 times. So he was very enthused. He said, 3 times it will go up in 3 years' time. So I told him, yes. I mean, probability is very high, sir. I can't give definitely, but this is India, and India is this company. Company is India, like they said. So he said, which is that company? So I gave him the name of the company, and his tone, his hospitality, everything changed. He said, what nonsense are you talking? I mean, are you making a fool of me? You want me to put 50 lakhs into a company which is going to collapse and close? And I didn't expect of this of my nephew who gave me your recommendation, and you come here. So he virtually kicked me out of the house, believe me. So when I went back on my home, my wife almost kicked me in the car. She said, what is this nonsense? You could have suggested Infosys or TCS or some blah blah blah, like an analyst. You keep on saying cautiously optimistic or something. You could have said and got this business. You could have made some brokerage out of it, and you foolishly went and told him the truth, what you feel. So I said, I feel very strongly about it. I've already have got at least 10-20 of my clients. They have put in about maybe 10-20 lakhs of shares they have bought. So about 4-5 crores is riding already in this. So what is 50 lakhs? Only 10%, right? So I tried to argue, and anyway, she had the last laugh because I have to have my dinner. So I accepted whatever she said. So I lost that. And next day morning, I got fired and said by my mentor in IMRB, he told me, "What is this nonsense, Vijay? Why have you recommended that?" That guy shouted at me. So I said, "This is this is the price pattern. This is the fundamentals. I know the fundamentals of the company." He knew because he knew that had worked with this particular company in when I was in IMRB Chennai. So that particular company, it finally it bottomed out at 12 rupees, but it was very briefly it bottomed out at, but it was more or less around 15 rupees. So what happened? So for 9 months it did nothing. 9 months the stock was doing nothing, and so again I had a client shouting at me. So I had to tell my clients, boss, all of us are born after 9 months. So what are you trying to shout? You wanted it for 3 years. 9 months itself you are crying. So anyway, nothing happened. So then it started moving to 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Every one of my clients sold. Every one of my clients sold at 22. They felt very thrilled that they bought it at 17 or something. They got 22 rupees. And they said, okay, boss, at least you gave us some stock which we can get an exit. There is no exit normally. And by March of 2014, they jumped on it. And so I would say about 5, 6, 7 lakhs worth of shares were sold. Maybe more, I don't know, because they would have probably bought with other brokers. A lot of my friends, I insisted that you buy, and then that's it. It just went away. And you see what happened. In the 9 months later, from 19, it went up to 55. Okay. And in the next 9 months, the damn thing went up from 55 to 100. So between 2013, when it was 12 rupees, and April of 2016, August 2013, it was 12 rupees. April of 2016, it was 113 rupees. That is how much it is coming to, nearly a 10 bagger in less than 3 years. I had said in 3 years, it will triple. So, see, the reason I'm telling you this story is simply because that, we are surrounded by people who feel that they know better. And we also get trapped in that theory that, oh, maybe they know something, they are experts. I'm just, an experienced guy. I was at 20 years of experience, but I couldn't convince a gentleman to put 50 lakhs. If he had put 50 lakhs, he'd have got 5 crores. What he's got money in that. So that is the thing about in an industry, in an economy. When economy is in a downturn, you will normally have auto stocks, auto numbers very poor. For instance, if you argue with any analyst today, an analyst will argue back saying there has been no improvement. For instance, in the last 5 years, there is no growth in the four wheelers. There is negative growth in two wheelers, and in CVs and MHVs, that is the medium and large commercial vehicles, there is negative growth, and the capacity has not increased. Zero. So what are you talking about? Why should you be investing in auto stocks? Incidentally, that company was Ashok Leyland. I forgot to tell you that. So that was Ashok Leyland, and and you look at the PE ratios. PE ratios are all very, very high. So why should you invest in auto stocks right now? That is what people will say, and they will look right when you look at simply the numbers. But markets don't look in the rear view. They always look at what is there in the forward. They are forward looking. So you have to find out at the ground level whether there is a change or just you're feeling the prices are going and they're making a bubble. Most people think auto sector is a bubble. For me, who has gone through this 9 yards, I have gone around and finding out whether it's a bubble or not. And I believe strongly, I'm not saying that one should invest basically on what I'm saying. I think this is an opportunity like 2013 Ashok Leyland, something like that. Something like that. Not I may not be, you won't get 10 baggers, but the numbers is most likely to shock us. Now let's come back to the third part of it, the last part of it. In 22, now we are in 21, 22. You see, I have been bullish like Vipin Bhai and Vinay since last 2 months, and I have been mocked around. No problem. I mean, mocking, trolling, part of the game. And I've been called as a lunatic, and I've been various abuses have been there that I don't know anything and analysts about, like a kindergarten. They're all very fine, so long as the other person is happy that he has mocked us. But look at the numbers. Recently, the number says that in the first half of 2022, Nasdaq posted its biggest drop in history. That's what the information is available. NASDAQ has come into being in 1975. So from 1971. Since 1971, this is the biggest drop in NASDAQ in 6 months. And Dow's is the biggest drop since 1962. Dow has come into this one around 1885. So 1962. And S&P's biggest drop is since 1970. S&P came in 1957. So what it is telling us, what the numbers are telling us is that we have had the NASDAQ, Dow and S&P, which we have not seen for nearly 50 years. So my question is, at this point of time, if you talk to any analyst, he will turn around and show you these pictures, numbers, and tell you this is the biggest drop. So my question is like this. So my story is like this. So let's take 1970. Let us not even go to 1916. In 1960s, for instance, if you take 1960s, if you take 1962, for instance, if you take, we had the Vietnam War between 1963, 64, and till 1975. So we are saying that the Dow was able to withstand the Vietnam War problem. It was able to withstand the oil crisis of 1974. It was able to withstand the impeachment of President Nixon. It fared better. What I'm saying is, it was able to withstand the 1991 Gulf War, 1979 oil crisis, 2000 dot-com crash, 2003 Gulf War II, 2008 subprime crash, and 2016 global recession, and the 2020 Corona. In all of these, the first half of the year, the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P fared better than what it has fared in the last 6 months. So what is it so much significant which has happened in the last 6 months for it to beat Vietnam War, oil crisis, Gulf War, dot-com crash, Gulf War II, subprime crash, and global recession and Corona? So this is where, when people come to me and tell me, then, I begin to wonder as to where we are. For instance, the last about a month and a half ago, I had gone as a chief guest where I made a presentation to a management slash engineering set of students and professors. Where about more than 150, 250 people were there. And they all listened to me, where I said one should never bet against India, especially when it is in trouble, in seeming trouble, where 2 months ago, the commodities were up, the oil was up, and all that. So soon after that, you see this. When I said that, after that, I was confronted by the professors and principal. I was called to the principal's chamber, and when he said, "What is this? You're so bullish." I said, "Yes, sir. We're so bullish." He said, Everybody is saying it will come to 12,000, for 12,500 to 14,000." So I said, "Sir, are you investing in index?" He said, "No." Then I said, "Why are you bothered whether it comes to 12,500 or 14,000? Are you a day trader?" He says, "How can I do day trading? I'm a principal at several of this college." And then I said, "Are you a weekly trader?" He says, "Sir, I can't. I am the head of the department. The head of the department also was there of the business school." And they said, "No, sir, we cannot. I mean, we are teaching students. I mean, how can we be doing trading? So we are investors." So I said, "On what basis are you listening to these people? Who are these people who told you 12,500 or 14,000? Do they have a skin in the game? See, just because it's coming on CNBC or somebody wears a tie and suit and talks big, at the end of the day, does he have skin in the game? And do we know his risk-taking capabilities, or how much risk he can take? And what is his horizon? We do not know all that. Simply somebody comes and says on TV, 12,500 to 2,000, 14,000 or 14,500, and then we begin to believe as if that is the truth, the Veda Vakya, as I call it. So one has to, I hear a lot of such stories. When I meet people, I went to a Rotary Club, I was the chief guest there. That guy said, "Boss, sir, you are again," because I have one presentation called the 6 Idiots, where I tell people that whenever India is down, do not bet against it. We always bet against it when India is down. Indian economy is down or inflation is up and blah, blah, blah. Today, the same situation is there. Today, everybody is betting against, market going down. So therefore, I present you these facts. These facts for me are saying, the market is telling me that we are probably in a 2013 kind of a scenario. 2022 onwards, I'll be very surprised. Of course, there can be bad news which we are not aware of. So let us tackle it when it comes. But with the current bad news, if you are saying the US market will go back to 1960s and 70s and 80s and 90s and 2000 and 2020. It did get worse than that. Then I have got a Taj Mahal to sell to you. All I can say that is that. So therefore, I think we should step back. We should look at it. We should look at parse the data, not hear people. I mean, of course, you must listen to everybody. All points of view, you should listen. You should never ever say that my point of view is right, but try to understand where are they coming from and what is my goal and what is the market telling me, what are the prices telling me, and what has history told us. Then you will probably be able to make a judicious decision. So you need to walk the talk, as I keep saying to myself. So I personally have been bullish since May 12th, and I'm willing to listen to bearish arguments even in this session, always open. But these are the facts, and I got many more facts. I don't want to, I'll take it up when it is necessary. Now let us open this up for discussion. Vinay, who's the co-host, will be the moderator. I'll sit back, and we are hoping that we'll finish this by 9:30 latest, 2 hours. Actually, I thought we'll finish by 9. I think I've taken 6 more minutes by than my normal time. So we will take it along. We'll try to answer as many questions as possible. Please keep the questions brief. And any monologue, please keep it to less than 2 minutes. I would love to hear a contrarian viewpoint. I have got some data which hopefully I will be able to put forward as the time goes by. Thank you once again for coming on a Thursday evening, listening to me. Vinay, kindly take over.
थैंक यू सर. विपिन भाई, आप बोलना चाहेंगे या थोड़ी देर बाद? विपिन भाई.
No, I've asked Vipin Bhai to speak at the end if it is possible. Otherwise, he can speak anytime, whenever if he wants to go somewhere. But let's go ahead with others, Vinay. If there is,
just before.
And may I request, Vinay, may I request you not to take more than 4 speakers at a time. We can again make them listeners and come, because the if it's more than 10, including all the hosts and co-hosts, then the Twitter will crash. Is what I read on Twitter. So just let's keep it 4.
Sure, sir. So before taking some questions, I just want to mention 2 points here. Yeah, so the CRB commodity index has, engulfed the whole last 2 months of gains in the markets. And as expected, in the last 1 month, though commodities have declined by 40-45% of agri and, palm oil, edible oils, and other products, 40, 45, 50%. From 50% year to gains have been wiped out, and they are in negative, while the equities have consolidated. Now, what we were discussing about a month back, hopefully it is coming true that the speculative money has come out of commodities and gone into bonds, and equities have been accumulated. And just let's hope that what we've been discussing about for the last 1.5 months now has begun now. So now start taking questions now. Mr. Ravi Thakur. Mr. Ravi Thakur. Can you hear me, Mr. Ravi Thakur? Mr. RD?
Yeah.
Haan ji, Ravi ji,
Good evening to everybody, and good evening to Vijay. And I am following Vijay everywhere on a Twitter also and on Clubhouse also. See, I am into the packaging industry, and I had been investing into the shares markets and all those things since 1988. So, packaging industry, what I am taking to you from the point of view, since June 15th, I'm into a means packaging. I'm into a plastic packaging also. I'm into a paper packaging also. I'm into a wood packaging also, and I'm dealing into a iron packaging also. Means any kind of a packaging good materials, I'm dealing into that. And since last 30 years, I've been dealing in these things. So if I'll take the FMGC, I'll take the few companies' names also. Amul is one of the biggest brand in the India. So their consumptions, the last month means 15 June to 30th June, if we take, then the fall down of the consumption of a packaging material in Amul went down by 10%. From 1st of July, when it got started, The first to fourth, we get all the orders of the Amul. 17 dairies are there. From all the 17 dairies, I get the orders to supply the packaging material. I'll take only one example of a corrugated boxes where the individual packing had been done and the bulk packaging go into that. That goes down from a 1.5 lakh boxes per month which I used to supply had come down to 1 lakh boxes straightly. Second, I'll take it a company which manufactures the sanitary wares, कमोड जिसको हम बोलते हैं या उस टाइप का materials. I'll take the example of a Kohler, I'll take the example of a Toto, which are the world leaders and which had been exporting also to the worldwide and that been selling in the India also. Their consumption had fallen down to 75% this month, starting July 1st. I'll take the engineering company called ABB, Siemens, Bombardier. All the consumptions for this month of a packaging materials had fallen down to 25%. Then I'll take a company which are dealing in the couriers, means the Amazon and the Flipkarts. I am processing the goods of 150 tons per month. The first July, when the things had come, okay, the things had changed because of the 51 microns and one-time use and all those things which had come into the things. But simultaneously, I am supplying the paper bags also to them. Due to this change, might be a Flipkart and Amazon and all those things, but that had come down. The margin means the now I am going to supply only a 40% of a requirement of Amazon or Flipkart. So subsequently, I am telling, okay, Mr. Vijay is very much bullish about all those things. I am also bullish. If you see the markets and all those things, the market is holding the Nifty. I am also not a investor in the Nifty, but market is holding. But if the packaging material is going down, same way in automobile sector, he says he is looking to the automobile sectors and all those things. I am a supplier to Hero Honda also. The Hero Honda consumptions of the packaging materials has gone down by 40%, and the monsoon season had started well. So I am thinking from next month onwards, the packaging material supplies will go up into automobile sectors. If you ask about the kitchenwares and all those things, so everybody had near hear the name of Acrysil. The Acrysil is also the packaging materials is reducing. So overall packaging materials, the reductions had come from the 10 to 60%, nearly everywhere. Means each and every industries where the packaging materials had been used, there had been a slowdown in the consumptions. Now, how long, unless and until, means as Mr. Vijay is confident about the other things, unless and until the packaging material doesn't go into the industry, doesn't goes to the consumer, it need to come down to the consumers, then I can think, yes, the economies is running. Till that these things are not moving, the economies is not moving, and if the economy is not moving, the how the share market is moving, that's the question mark for me, and that's the question which I'm going to ask Mr. Vijay. If the economy is not moving, from where the money is coming and how the share market is moving up? Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Ravi. See, as they say, you have given a perspective which is obviously very different from what I am seeing. And my perspective is just not based on numbers. My perspective is based on people who are in the industry. So people who supply, for instance, you are supplying packaging material. There are other people who supply other products to the input industries. And I also talk to industry leaders. I also listen to what the industry leaders say. And I also look at the numbers. So my understanding is that I know what you are saying is obviously on the ground level. You are saying this is what happened. I got a friend here. I don't know whether he has come to the spaces now. He supplies to these heavy commercial vehicle manufacturers, for instance, Ashok Leyland. So he supplies first aid boxes, which is very necessary. He says he's not able to supply to them because the demand is so huge. He supplies to another company. He says he's not able to supply because the demand from them is so huge. And what I hear from Bajaj Auto, or what I hear from Hindustan Lever, or what I hear from HDFC Bank, or any of the banks, for instance, and Mahindra and Mahindra, Maruti, those people who come on TV are senior people, and they seem to be very, very confident of their production. Now, obviously, they are saying something, and I am taking their word as truth. So they say there's one old Chinese saying, you see, there is your truth, which you say there is no, no demand from the manufacturer. So that is your truth. My truth is that there is huge demand from the manufacturers for these components, and they are speaking that there will be they are not able to manage the supplies of, manage the demand of the consumers for their products. That is their truth or my truth. Their truth I've taken as my truth. Your truth is that there is no scope at all. The things are only going down. So that is your perspective. But then the final thing, there is the truth. The truth is what? The truth is the price, or let us say the results. So there are always three truths: your truth, my truth, and the truth. So your truth is no demand. So there is no way the prices can go. So these are all artificial. My truth is based on this data which people have given. I have not gone and seen it, right? So I'm just basing it on them. I trust them that they should not, all of them should not be bluffing. So that means that is my truth. The final truth is when they show the results at the end of this quarter, and then they talk of what prospect they have for the next quarter. So in the next 60 days, we will know the truth. So we'll have to see at that point of time whether your truth or my truth, or when I say mine, it is their truth, which is I've converted to mine, whether their truth or your truth is the truth, or which is the truth. So I think while I take your point, you are a supplier, they are producing those products, and they are saying something. So I would assume that one of either you will be right or they'll be right. So we will know in the next 60 days when all the results come. So let's leave it at this. I think the point is well made. The point is well taken, and we will see at this point. I hope you understand. So I'm just following what they are saying. It is not that I'm created anything new. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, Mr. RD.
Thank you, sir, for taking my question. I have a very small doubt. Aren't we in a very unprecedented time? We have never seen something like crypto collapsing. We have never seen gold collapsing at the same time. We have not seen US dollar rising to 107 at the same time. We have not seen 45% correction in commodities in 2 months ever. We have never seen a quantitative easing of $18 trillion in 18 months. Can you put all these things together and still put your thesis that it will be a smooth ride outside from 16,000 to higher levels? Means there are so many moving parts. You are also there on another platform where the other guys are so bearish. They are saying Indian net income to home to middle class is falling. People are down trading in their FMCG, medicine. Means things are good if you are saying from HDFC Bank and these banks who are lending more, but they are not lending that big. They are also cash crunch there. I think there are many moving parts. It's very uncertain. Putting a logic for a high up upside is difficult. My view is we will hang around here up and down every day. We will have spaces, somebody saying going up, somebody saying going down. Means it's tough time. Don't you agree with me? It's all I want to say.
Yeah, thanks, RD. I gave you 3 tough times in the past, which I've encountered. I don't know whether you were there. I don't know whether you were there at that point of time. Sorry.
I'll rather love to talk to you because you were the only one who talked about a bottom and a commodity going down and as a result, inflation going down. I admire your point of view. But when I look around, there are many problems that are still hanging around. And we have election
Yeah.
approaching.
Yeah, Adi, there's a classic saying: India disappoints both the optimists as well as the pessimists. When you look at it, you'll say, "My God, what's wrong with this country? Everything is down the drain." That is the optimist will get disappointed. The pessimist will get disappointed because he'll say, "Boss, the country is in deep shit, but the prices are going up." So India disappoints both the optimists and pessimists. Now it depends on from where you're looking at it. For me, price is the final arbiter. For me, nothing else excepting price. See, an opinion is an opinion. All of us have an opinion. So it can be right, wrong, what it is. So I look at the prices. For me, based on my experience, that prices are telling me I don't want to go down. That is what it's telling me. What do I mean by that? Now look at today where we are. We are in, we have inflation, we have Fed, we have crypto collapse, we have various things. It is not that this is a unique situation. In my experience, there's nothing unique about it. I really don't feel anything unique about it. I'll tell you this. See, in quantitative easing, people forget it. I repeat this, but I have to, because you asked me the question. I have to answer to people who may not have heard me before. See, people say quantitative easing was there from 2008 till 2021 or 22. That's not true. Quantitative easing was there between 2008 to 2014. From 2015 onwards, the Fed raised interest rates 9 times. 9 times they raised the interest rates between 2015 to 2018. They raised. FII net sold 15, 16, 17, 18. 4 years. 4 years. Now, people will say, no. If you look at the SEBI numbers, or if you look at the NSDL numbers, they were buying during that year. I explained yesterday in another spaces conducted by Vipin Bhai that what SEBI's data, which is now reflected in CDSL and NSDL websites, is data which includes their investment in IPOs. It includes their investment in this, what is that called? I forgot that. That is, where the companies, the QIPs. So QIPs and IPO investments are included in whichever goes into the DMAT. So that is there. So if you look at just pure numbers, which comes on the NSE website and which is the true numbers anyway, which is coming from Money Control, 4 years. So we have seen Fed raising interest rate 9 times. We have seen 4 years of FII disinvestment. And we have seen a quantitative tightening, which we saw in 2017 to 2019, there was a quantitative tightening. So what we are seeing today was there already. Yet the markets, if you see between 2016, where market I think was 6,800, it went up to 2,000. In 2020, it went up to 12,000. So it almost doubled. So we have seen this every single year. RD, let me tell you this. My experience is only limited to 1991 till now, 31 years. Every single year, there is some or other crisis. Somewhere in 1992, you had Harshad Mehta. In 2000, you had a dot-com crash. People thought the world is ending. Internet is going to get stopped. People refused to send their children to computer science in 2001. I don't know whether you are aware of it. I follow these social, indicators. In 2001, no self-respecting father wanted to send their children to computer science because they thought it's gone. There's no more computer science. In 2001, September, people thought America will collapse because two planes collapsed into the World Trade Center. You take 2004, we thought communists will take over in India. And Manmohan Singh will be a pliable guy. Manmohan Singh might have been a pliable guy, but not because of communists. And every single year, if you look at it, it will be taking too much of time and I will not be giving time for others because that's what the purpose is, to give time for it. So every single year, you can always find something unprecedented. Today, I gave an example that US market is at 50-year low in the first 6 months. It's unprecedented. Unprecedented. For me, it is in wonderment. Why should it be like that? What is so great has happened in the last 6 months for US markets to be where they are. So that is, I feel the prices are mismatched. In my opinion, sooner than later, the prices will revert to normal. Sometimes the prices are mismatched. Bhav Bhagwan hai, but market is not always true. It goes this way, that way. So commodity crash is good for India, for instance. High inflation, bad for India. Dropping of inflation, good for India. IIP going up, good for India. So there are so many things which are in our favor. GST all-time high, good for India. Corporate tax is growing, good for India. Then monsoons on time, good for India. Oil at lower prices, good for India. Fertilizers at lower prices from Russia. Today, Russia is the number one fertilizer supplier to India. We were buying it from China and other places at higher prices. Good for India. Commodity complex collapses, good for India. So there are so many good things. There are so many bad things also. So if we have to now finally, how will we go about doing your investment? You look at the prices. The prices tell me in March, many stocks and sectors bottomed out. Bank Nifty bottomed out, FMCG bottomed out, index I'm talking about. And we had the auto index bottomed out, whereas only the Nifty fell down in the last month. So something bottomed out in March, not now. So we already those stocks have gone up. Why have they gone up? Who are the fools who are buying when they should know? No, Ukraine war is there. RBI is saying that inflation is there, so they've increased interest rates subsequently twice. But some fools are buying. In my opinion, they are smart money. So I would like to follow the smart money because many times I followed the dumb money. I followed analysts, and it is my responsibility. I lost money many times. I mean, I can't tell you a number of times. Maybe 30,000 trades of mine are failures. Why? Because I did not use my brain. I'm hoping that I'm using my brain this time. I know that there are problems. I can list out any number of problems to you today, which will make you feel to go and short tomorrow. But I don't want to short. Maybe I'll be wrong. Let's hope. I learn my lessons next month.
A nice perspective, sir. Thank you.
Next, Mr. PT Paresh.
Yeah, good evening, Sanikji. And good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So I have a small comment and a question. First comment is, even till today, I was still highly, a bit skeptical about your bullish stance, and all those other doubts were there. But today I'm a little bit more convinced because I see so many people still doubting it, still cynical about it, still bearish, not only in this forum but a lot of. So that is what finally sort of convinces me that we are onto something. Because typically when the market moves up like this, it is on a wall of worry, and this is like a sea of worry because everybody has got these negative points rotate by heart. So that's the first comment I wanted to make. Secondly, I just wanted to know your perspective on this relentless FII selling. Now, people are saying they'll get exhausted. People are saying it and 22% only long and this, that, and all. DIIs and whoever I don't know are buying. I don't know who all are buying, but mostly DIIs, I guess, and retailers. So I just wanted to know your forecast or your perspective on what is going to happen to FII flows. Are they going to turn positive, or are they going to still be negative for a while and eventually turn positive? And if so, then what will make them turn positive? Because the yields are keep going up there in the US, especially the short-term yields, and there's a lot of liquidity being withdrawn still. So this is my question: like, what do you think of what's going to happen to the FIIs flows, and why?
Yeah,
Thank
thanks, PT. Thanks for complimenting me. A rare compliment, I would say. I would say when everybody is bearish. Let's take your point about FPI, for instance. I just now mentioned that FPIs, the foreign portfolio investors, sold 4 years in a row. Nobody made a noise that time. Nobody made a noise. Have you heard anybody talking about we had unprecedented selling? We only hear of unprecedented selling. Unprecedented English, whatever little I know, means it not happened before. It happened for 4 years before. 15, 16, 17, 18. You can see the numbers. It is there for all of us to see. So at 2015, 1 year later, in 2016, if you had gone and told, or in 2016 end, that's after 2 years of relentless selling, if you had said, though 2 years they've sold. So what will happen in 2017? People would have given up because 1 year itself is too much. We have only 1 year they've sold, right? So 2 years if they sell, in 2017, in 2016, the Nifty was how much? It was about 6,800 or something after demonetization. I'm talking of December 26th. It was about 6,800. Then what has happened? 17 they sold, it went up. 18 they sold, it went up. 19, they were buyers. Then they came buyers, but they had to buy at higher levels. So one cannot make any assumption. At least I can't make. I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea when they will stop selling. But I'll just put a thought experiment here. Let's say you are a big investor, FII. Government of Singapore, incidentally, is the largest FII. I don't know whether Government of Singapore is selling it. There are many other hedge funds or somebody, they may be selling for whatever reasons. I'll just a thought experiment. FIIs are doing dollar-denominated purchase and sales. Now they are seeing the rupee has weakened by about 10%. They are seeing an average Nifty stock, average, has down by 25 to 30%. So let's say 25%, the lower end. Actually, 80% of stocks are down by 25% or more in the lowest, from the high to low. I'm talking.
Yeah, I think you had sliced it also.
Yeah, okay. So now you are saying 25% down, plus I'm saying a 10% gain I'm getting on the dollar, because now if I enter the Indian market, I will be getting it 35% cheaper. Now, whether India is a growing economy, most people think that's why FII numbers are so high. Then if I were an FII, what would I do? Would I buy now or would I sell now? That is the thought experiment. In my opinion, FIIs could sell, continue, any amount of time, we don't know. But it doesn't make sense. At a certain time, it doesn't make sense for you to sell. Certain time, at 18,000, it makes sense to sell, whereas all the people were bullish. At 15,500, in my opinion, it doesn't make a case for selling. Now, who's there to say it will not come to 14.8 or 14.5 or 14 or 13.5 or 12 or whatever numbers which people are talking about? It may. At this point of time, looking at the screen, looking at the environment around me, I feel it is a losing proposition to sell, whether it's a local guy, DII, operator, Junjunwala, or the government of Singapore. This is my proposition. So now whether recently the numbers have come down, maybe they have stopped selling, maybe they've exhausted, maybe there is a calm before the storm, or maybe we're in the eye of a storm, and so suddenly selling may come day after tomorrow. At this point of time, with my limited knowledge, I feel the worst is over for India. With confidence, I am going in the market. I don't have cautious optimism. I am fully optimistic since May 12th, when in Nifty was 15,800. Subsequently, Nifty has gone to 15,183 also. It didn't make any difference to my thinking because nothing changed. Only the prices changed briefly for 3-4 days below 15.5. Otherwise, I believe, I could be completely wrong, but I'm basing it based on my experience, my limited knowledge, and my understanding. They're all limited. I am not an expert. I'm just an experienced guy. So as an experienced, what should I do? Tomorrow morning, should I press F1 or F2? I am pressing F1 from May 12th. I have not pressed one F2. I have not done F2, F1. I have done F1, F2. So maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I'm right. We will know in time. Maybe 60 days later, we'll get a better idea. But the prodigal son has to come home, in my opinion. When the prodigal son will come home, I don't know. But prodigal son will come home because...
Why?
Yeah, because this is too good an opportunity. It's too good an opportunity. If somebody tells me that India is a basket case like Sri Lanka or Pakistan, that's the only time I'll tell them to go to Pakistan. That's the only time. Otherwise, I never want anybody to go to Pakistan. Okay. So it's like that.
Just a small clarification. The word unprecedented was used because even I've been in the market for say 10 to 15 years. I've never seen them selling like continuously. I think from 19 out of 20 sessions they are selling only. Out of every 20 sessions, 19 they are selling only. This sort of selling I've never seen.
Wait, VT, you've forgotten. Raat gayi, baat gayi. That's what has happened to you. Refresh your memory. Go back to moneycontrol.com. Look at the numbers. I got the numbers. I don't want to read out the numbers to you. 2015, 16, 17, 18 calendar year they've sold net. Now whether we have sold continuously 4 days in a row or they've sold net on a yearly basis, they've sold. So for me, I look at those numbers. I say, boss, kuch naya batao. Naya to kuch nahi hai, sir. In my opinion, in my understanding, there is no new things. So I am willing to lose money, but on this conviction, I'm willing to lose money.
So just to sum it up, it is an opportunity. You are saying it is a very good opportunity, and that's why they will not pass it up.
Yes, sir. In 2013, when Ashok Leyland was 15 rupees, people thought Ashok Leyland will close down. And people bought at 110 rupees 3 years later. I've seen that. I have missed that opportunity because I got so crushed by my clients who are much smarter than I am, who know much more than I am. I believed them. I didn't believe my own understanding and knowledge and experience and analytical capabilities and all that. I have been beaten by my own, shyness, I would say, and by my fear of other guy. You are more intelligent than me. I will respect you. I will believe whatever you say. So whenever I have done that and not used my own brain, I've lost. This time I'm using my own brain. If I lose, it's okay. Doesn't matter.
विजय सर, एक और चीज रखना चाहूंगा सामने। सिर्फ इंडेक्स वाइज अगर देखेंगे तो अप्रैल 20 से लेके मार्च 20 तक एफआई बाई कर रहा था। द इंडेक्स वाज एट 15,400 दैट टाइम, and they started selling small since April of 2021 and they accelerated after October. एंड ज़्यादातर आप देखेंगे अगर पैसा जो स्टॉक्स ज़्यादा घटे हैं, अप्रैल में ज़्यादा मंदी आई, अप्रैल में जून में सबसे ज़्यादा घटे कमोडिटी एंड आईटी स्टॉक्स। तो ओवर प्राइस बाय एनी मीन्स। जो फेड का पैसा आया था पूरा वहीं गया था, तो जहाँ जहाँ फोकट का पैसा आया था वहाँ से पैसा निकला है। तो दैट मनी हैज़ गॉन। जैसा आपने कहा कि मेनी इंडाइसेस एंड स्टॉक्स bottomed out in March. Banking है, auto है, all these stocks have really performed well amid all this fear psychosis. और एक और एक चीज में important ये बोलना है कि पेंडेमिक के बाद सबसे ज्यादा पैसा जो फॉरेन इनफ्लोज का आया था इंडिया एंड ताइवान में आया था। दैट पीपल फॉरगेट। यस, सामने डे टू डे मार्केट देखने में थोड़ी घबराहट होती है बिकॉज सो मेनी न्यूज एंड सो मच नॉइज इज देयर, बट इफ यू सी अ डिफरेंट सेक्टर्स एंड व्हाट इज हैपनिंग अराउंड, देन आई थिंक थोड़ा नॉइज रिडक्शन करने में उसमें आसानी होती है। एंड द फियर साइकोसिस कैन टेक अ बैक सीट इन दैट।
Can I ask a small additional question, please?
परेश भाई, थोड़ा हिंदी में बताइएगा तो अच्छा रहेगा। सेशन जो आप ले रहे हो सब लोग, तो हिंदी में थोड़ा लीजिए तो अच्छा है, तो हमें भी थोड़ा समझ पड़े।
एक छोटा सा क्वेश्चन पूछ सकता हूँ?
बोलिए बोलिए।
हाँ, ये क्वेश्चन ये था मेरा कि इस बार जो बॉन्ड यील्ड, गिवन द न्यू बॉन्ड यील्ड regime, जो इस बार इंटरेस्ट रेट्स are going to be much higher than what they have in the past 2 years. तो जब ये हायर इंटरेस्ट रेट है, तो इस बार जब मार्केट आपके फोरकास्ट या आपके एनालिसिस के मुताबिक जब ऊपर जाएगा, तो इस बार जो पीई है, क्या वो, या पीई कह लीजिए, वैल्यूएशंस कह लीजिए, कुछ भी कह लीजिए, तो क्या आप एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि रिसेंट पास्ट या पिछली बार इससे कम होएगा कि सेम होएगा?
पीटी सर, पहले वो जो महाशय जो बोल रहे थे कि मैं हिंदी में बात करूं, मेरा हिंदी थोड़ा बहुत मद्रासी हिंदी है, हंसना मत, ओके?
उसमें ही मजा आएगा, वो जो आपका हिंदी होगा ना, उसमें ही बहुत मजा आएगा सुनने में।
अब समझ गया मैं आपका क्या, व्हाट इज योर रियल इंटेंशन। ओके, तो अभी क्या है सर? तो अभी क्या है, आज जो आपने देख रहे नंबर, जो मेरे ख्याल से ये कल अच्छे रहेंगे कि क्या बोलता हूं। अब अगर आप ये सब लोग बोल रहे हैं कि ये जो जून 30 का जो भी परिणाम जो आएंगे वो अच्छे नहीं रहेंगे, मेरे ख्याल से वो गलत फहमी है मेरे ख्याल से। तो ये जून का जो आएंगे अच्छे ही रहेंगे, नॉट एवरीबडी बट बहुत सारे। ऐसा मुझे लगता है कि ये जो बेरिश एनालिस्ट है उसको डिसअपॉइंटमेंट हो जाएगा मेरे ख्याल से। और सब रही बात जून की, अगर आप सितंबर की देखें तो मेरे ख्याल से बहुत अच्छी नतीजे आने वाले हैं। मैं ये सोच रहा हूं कि ये सब नॉर्मल स्टैंडर्ड टेम्परेचर प्रेशर है। अगर कुछ नया वाला कुछ दुर्घटना हुई तो मैं डेफिनेटली हैव टू चेंज माय ओपिनियन। नहीं तो मैं आपको क्या बोलूं सर, क्योंकि मुझे ये एक्सपीरियंस इतना है कि जब भी मैंने ऐसा सोचा कि बेरिश, जब मार्केट गिरा है, या सब लोग मेरे से जो बहुत इंटेलिजेंट है वो बोल रहे हैं, तो जब भी मैं ऐसा सुना और जब भी मैंने नंबर को, आंकड़े को देखा, तो मुझे वो टाइम बेरिश होना पड़ा है और मुझे नुकसान हुआ है। आज मैं देख रहा हूं पहली बार मेरे ख्याल से 30 साल में ये जो प्राइसेस, जो आंकड़े हैं वो कम, वो पूरा नीचे गिर गए हैं, और जो इकोनॉमिक और जो सेंटीमेंट है वो भी बहुत बुरी है। कोई भी चैनल देखिए, कोई भी किधर भी जाइए, वो बोलेंगे कॉशियस ऑप्टिमिज्म इज द मोस्ट बुलिश, और सब लोग बहुत मंदी की बात ही करते हैं। तो मुझे ये लग रहा है ये पहली बार ऐसा है कि सब लोग मंदी के कॉर्नर पे बैठे हैं। ये जो इकोनॉमी का ग्रीन शूट्स जो हम बोलते हैं इतना है, हम नहीं देख रहे हैं। मेरे ख्याल से ये आएगा 3 महीने के बाद। वो बोले ओ माय गॉड इतना अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस हुआ है, वो टाइम पे वो हमारा प्राइसेस उधर नहीं रहेंगे ना, इधर नहीं रहेंगे। अगर सोचो कि आज क्या है 16,000 कुछ है, 16,000। अगर सोचो कि 3 महीने के बाद वो 17,000 गए, तो आई एम टेकिंग सितंबर, तो हमारा अपॉर्चुनिटी गया ना सर। आज क्या है, हमको क्या हो सकता है सितंबर में हो सकता है, क्या है टू थिंक एंड देन आप इन्वेस्ट या डिसइन्वेस्ट करने का। मुझे तो ये ऐसा लग रहा है कि सितंबर की जो आंकड़े आएंगे अक्टूबर में बहुत अच्छे आएंगे। ये चौंकाएंगे, दोनों बुल को चौंकाएंगे और बेयर को चौंकाएंगे। तो मेरा हिंदी अभी समाप्त हो गया सर। आई होप आई
विजय जी,
आंसर्ड
मेरा
योर
क्वेश्चन
क्वेश्चन।
एक्चुअली आप बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं। मेरा क्वेश्चन वैल्यूएशन पे था। अर्निंग अच्छे आएंगे, लेकिन क्या अभी जो 27-28 तक वैल्यूएशन पहुंचा था या जो भी पैरामीटर आप लेंगे, क्या इस बार उसमें वैल्यूएशन जा सकता है मार्केट, क्योंकि इंटरेस्ट रेट तो बढ़ गया इस बार?
सर मालूम नहीं सर, क्योंकि क्या है 27-28 नॉर्मल हमारा वैल्यूएशन जो इंडिया का है निफ्टी का पी रहेगा, और 23-24 अभी हो गया, अभी 19 कुछ हो गया, 20 कुछ हो गया। तो अभी
मैं थोड़ा सा बोल सर, थोड़ा
1 मिनट सर, मैं आंसर करूंगा सर, मैं उत्तर दूंगा, आप बोलिए सर। बहुत टाइम है सर, मैं वैसे ही बैठूंगा। तो मुझे ये मालूम नहीं कि वो 29-30 हो जाएगा या बबल हो जाएगा, मुझे वो मालूम नहीं। मुझे इतना ही मालूम है कि कल मैं क्या करूं, ये ऑप्टिमिस्ट हूं या पेसिमिस्ट। मैं ऑप्टिमिस्ट हूं, 2 महीने से ऑप्टिमिस्ट हूं। मैं ऑप्टिमिस्ट इतना टाइम तक रहूंगा कि जब मैंने और नए कुछ दुर्घटना वाली चीज आएगा या आने वाला है, तो वो टाइम मैं और एक स्पेसिस करूंगा और बोलूंगा सर जी हम आज से बेयर बन जाएंगे, भालू बन जाएंगे। तो अभी तो मुझे क्या बुल होना चाहिए।
सांड
सो आई डोंट बॉदर वैल्यू। हाँ सांड, तो अभी हमको तो सांड ही होना चाहिए सर। तो क्या है
सैनिक सर,
वैल्यूएशन
आपकी
क्या
आवाज
है?
नहीं आ रही है।
अभी आ रहे हैं सर, अभी आ रहे हैं,
हाँ आ रहा है
आ रहे हैं ना सर? हाँ, तो अभी जो भी मैंने एनालिसिस किया है, मुझे तो अच्छी तरह के वो सांड जैसे लग रहा है सर। सांड बुल्ली रहने का, बेयर तो नहीं रहने का सर। वैल्यूएशंस विल इंप्रूव इन द सेंस इट विल बी नॉट वेरी हाई, बिकॉज द कॉर्पोरेट रिजल्ट्स जो है अच्छे आएंगे सर, अच्छे आंकड़े आएंगे। तो
सैनिक
अच्छे
सर,
आंकड़े आएंगे तो ईपीएस ऐसे कम ज्यादा ही रहेगा ना सर।
सैनिक सर,
हाँ
लगता
सर।
है आप म्यूट हो गए हो।
नहीं नहीं आपका
नहीं सर, नहीं
नहीं,
सर।
उनका नेटवर्क खराब है सर, शायद मेरे ख्याल से। सर एक और एक चीज कहना चाह रहा था
विजय जी, थैंक यू, दैट्स ऑल फ्रॉम माय साइड। यू कैन रिमूव मी एज स्पीकर इफ यू वांट।
के बारे में सब वही बात सर, ग्रोथ के बारे में कोई नहीं बात कर रहा है कि ग्रोथ आ सकती है नहीं। आई थिंक दैट इज वन पर्टिनेंट थिंग। आई थिंक आपको लोगों को बताना पड़ेगा कि ग्रोथ कैसा आ सकती है, बिकॉज एवरीबडी इज कंसर्न अबाउट इन्फ्लेशन एंड इंटरेस्ट रेट, बट नोबडी इज टॉकिंग अबाउट द थर्ड मेजर फैक्टर, दैट इज ग्रोथ. If that returns, everything will just subside. Anyways, I'll take the next question now. Mr. Sameer.
मुझे तो बहुत क्या बोलते हैं ज्ञान नहीं है, लेकिन मैं ऐसा बोल रहा हूँ, अपना निफ्टी जहां से शुरू हुआ वहां ऊपर ही बढ़ा है। 100 से शुरू हुआ, वापिस 100 नहीं आया है। एक बात यही है। और ग्रोथ की बात है तो जो भी कंपनी है उसको पता ही होता है भाई इंटरेस्ट रेट बढ़ा है तो किस तरह से हमको रेट स्ट्रेटजी चेंज करनी है, वो कर रहे होंगे, बराबर है। और इन्फ्लेशन भी बढ़ा है क्योंकि जो कंपनियां बना रही है माल सामान, तो उसने उसका दाम भी बढ़ाया है। जो भी इंटरेस्ट रेट लगेगा वो माल पे ही जकात पे ही वो माल पे ही जकात लगेगा ना, वो भी एक बात है।
जी समीर जी।
और दूसरी बात रही कि टीवी वाले ये सब, क्योंकि जब मंदी होती है तो मंदी में ही तेजी का बीज बोया जाता है और तेजी में ही मंदी का बीज बोया जाता है।
सही बोलिए सर, सही बोला सर, सही बोला। 100% करेक्ट सर, 100%।
दिखा रहे हैं बियर्स, लेकिन है बुल्स। वही बुल्स है जो बियर्स करके डर को खरीदना सीखो। मार्केट को अगर तुमको पहचानना है तो डर को खरीदो। डर खरीदना आ गया तो मार्केट में कोई हरा नहीं सकता।
सही बात
डर
सर।
को खरीदो क्योंकि 18,200 पे तुम खरीद रहे हो, आज का बंदे की साइकोलॉजी की बात कर रहा हूँ, 18,200 पे सबको 19,000 लग रहा था और ले रहे थे। अभी 15,200 पे सबको 13,000 14,000 लगता है, सब बेच रहे हैं। तो इससे ज्यादा क्या होगा? इससे ज्यादा अपने को कहाँ मिलेगा देखने को कि भाई सब 18,200 पे ले रहे हैं और 15,200 पे बेच रहे हैं। तो उसके कैलकुलेशन पे अपने को निकालना कि भाई डर है, डर को खरीद लो, अपने आप पैसा बन जाएगा, मार्केट ही पैसा दे देगा। बस यही कहना था।
सही बात सर, सही बात।
Thank you, Samir ji. Thank you. Mr. Navru, please.
Samir sir, Sainik sir, first of all, thank you so much. अब आपका मैं पहले भी सुना था. I'll only add to this much. I'll only add to this much कि जो geopolitical risks हैं, you know, I did some analysis पीछे थोड़ा सा, because geopolitics में मैं काफी देखता हूँ. तो अब जैसे you know, like there's a fear, जो fear फैलाया जा रहा है recession का. First of all, there are a couple of factors which I list out because I agree with what Sainik sir is saying. That even if a recession or a downturn comes, it won't be a global one. No, like it will be limited to certain geographies which are directly impacted by the commodities war. जो रशिया जैसे रशिया और यूरोप के बीच में चल रहा है, तो डिस्रप्शन हुआ commodities war के बीच में, prices बढ़ा, and now they are again bearing it out. So एक normalization धीरे धीरे आ रहा है because countries like India and China are buying out this commodity. So एक balance is creeping back into it. Now, as the oil drops, the Russian margin also drops of profit. So that leads to a better better economy of prices, and you know, like suddenly एक comfort level oil में आना शुरू होगा. However, you know, like the initial panic जो हुआ, जो Ukraine after the Ukraine war, which led to FII, you know, like everyone wanted to withdraw all their money and park into a safe haven. And for investors in Europe specifically, or even in India, they thought, you know, that probably US is the safest haven where they can park their money. So the FII withdrew at a very faster pace, though the withdrawal was going on for a long time. However, if Europe is going to get into this, you know, a Cold War kind of situation with Russia, and America is going to, you know, impose, those sanctions are not going to go back. So ultimately, if you look at India's growth, as someone was talking about 2 days back, India's core sectors are doing better. China's PMI is coming out far better, and also what you say, your a normal monsoon also augurs good for demand in India in the festival season specifically. So India का तो core foundation economy का है, that is very strong, which makes me feel that this is probably a temporary phase, and this is a phase to buy and not to sell, because this will ultimately, you know, if you buy at a lower level today, you will ultimately have, you know, score good in rally. Obviously, you have to pick out the sectors, and if India weathers this out, which it will weather this out, like we did in 2008, we did in other in 1980s, then most likely, you know, like FIIs will again come back to India, because what they need is a safe haven to park their money, a safe market to invest. And nothing can be more safer than India, and probably to an extent China, because Europe is going to be in a conflict, or America is there all anyway the safe one. So that's my take, Sainik sir. You know, so I totally support Sainik sir's analysis.
Now, Navrup Singh sir, thank you very much. You brought out this recession. I'll give you an interesting facts about recession. सब लोग डरा रहे हैं recession आएगा, US में आएगा. तो recession का क्या definition क्या है? 2 quarter जो negative growth आएगा, तो recession. तो कौन तैयार करेगा? एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, they decide recession. 2 quarter की growth. मैंने recession के बारे में मैंने पढ़ा. तो अभी 2000 से अभी तक 3 दफा रिसेशन आया यूएस में, 3 दफा. तो आज तो हमको 4था दफा डरा रहे हैं कि अभी रिसेशन आएगा, भालू आएगा, या क्या बोलते हैं, गब्बर आएगा बोलते. तो अब क्या हुआ वो टाइम पे? 2001 में रिसेशन आया मार्च टू नवंबर, तो नेगेटिव 2. वो टाइम पे जब रिसेशन आने के बाद नेक्स्ट मंथ बोलेंगे कि अभी 2 क्वार्टर नेगेटिव ग्रोथ है, इसलिए रिसेशन है। तो वो टाइम पे आफ्टर सितंबर एंड नाउ 2001 में रिसेशन डिक्लेयर हुआ। तो वो टाइम डाउ जोन्स कितना था? 8062। 6 महीने के बाद जब वो रिसेशन पहले डिसाइड किया कि अभी रिसेशन आ गया है, मर जाएंगे हम, वो टाइम था डो जोन्स 8062। और 6 महीने के बाद डो जोन्स कितना था? 10,670। 32% ऊपर गया था रिसेशन अनाउंस होने के बाद, 6 महीने के। और दूसरी तरफ दूसरी टाइम हुआ 2008-9 में, वो भी रिसेशन आया। एक्चुअली वो टाइम पे क्या हुआ, 4 क्वार्टर में रिसेशन आया, दैट इज Q3, Q4 ऑफ 2008 एंड 2009 में Q1 एंड Q2। तो वो टाइम क्या हुआ, जनवरी 2009 में रिसेशन कंफर्म हुआ। तो वो टाइम डाउ जोन्स कितना था? 8000। 6 महीने के बाद क्या हुआ? 9200, 15% ऊपर गया। और तीसरी दफा 2020 में रिसेशन कब आया? फर्स्ट क्वार्टर के बाद वो बोले कि, अब सेकंड क्वार्टर के बाद वो बोले कि यूएस में रिसेशन आ गया, अभी तो मरने वाले। इट इज द बिगेस्ट रिसेशन सिंस ग्रेट डिप्रेशन ऑफ 1929। सब लोग हमको डरा रहे, डर, हम भी डर गए। तो जून एंड 2020 में जब रिसेशन कंफर्म हुआ तो डो जोन्स कितना था? 25,800। और जून एंड 2020 और जनवरी 2021 में जून डो जोन्स कितना था? 37,000। तो कितना ऊपर गया? 43%। तो मुझे तो ये हम ऐसा करना चाहिए कि हमको रिसेशन चाहिए, क्योंकि रिसेशन आएगा, कंफर्म करेगा तो हमारा मार्केट ऊपर जाए। तो ये देखो, ये नंबर, ये आंकड़े तो ये सही है जो बोल रहे हैं। दिस इज द 3 times I've given you numbers. So I welcome recession. Let bring on the recession so that I will make money by buying as soon as you declare recession है तो हम परचेज करेंगे। 6 महीने के बाद हमको 50% मिलेगा, 30% मिलेगा, 40% मिलेगा। ऐसा है सर। रिसेशन की कोई डरने का नहीं है सर, नहीं है सर।
Yeah, exactly, sir. Because like this will, Indian economy fundamentals are strong, and I think like we are likely to be the least impacted in the whole EM section. So I don't think there's nothing to fear about. Or as the saying goes, "Dar ke aage jeet hai." So if you can conquer your fears and you can invest wisely and safely, you will sail through it very nicely over it.
राइट, थैंक यू। मिस्टर हम्बल्स, आप डिस्कनेक्ट हो गए थे, बताइए।
नमस्ते सैनिक सर। मैं होल्ड कर रहा हूँ सर लास्ट ईयर सितंबर से अशोक लेलैंड अराउंड 140 के अराउंड मैंने बाई किया था। और मुझे लग रहा था कि 2018 से जो डाउन ट्रेंड स्टार्ट हुई थी ऑटो में, लास्ट ईयर ब्रेकआउट दे देगा, जो कि दिया नहीं। फिर भी मैंने डाउन ट्रेंड में होल्ड रखा अशोक लेलैंड। और अभी 150 to 60 के अराउंड अगर ब्रेकआउट देगा तो मुझे लगता है कि काफी अच्छा परफॉर्म कर सकता है अशोक लेलैंड। और 240 300 का मतलब मैं टारगेट खुद से जो एनालाइज किया हूँ उससे मुझे मिल रहा है। और तो अशोक लेलैंड का व्यू चाहिए होगा सर 1 से 2 ईयर में। और सेकंड क्वेश्चन है सर कि मैं अभी कंप्यूटर साइंस पढ़ रहा हूँ और मैं अभी ग्रेजुएट होने वाला हूँ, इसी ईयर ग्रेजुएट होऊंगा। तो सर मुझे आईटी से ज़्यादा मजा मतलब फाइनेंस और खासकर ट्रेडिंग ये सब में आता है, और मैंने काफ़ी मेहनत करा है सीखने में लास्ट 4 इयर्स में। तो सर इसी में मैं करियर अपॉर्चुनिटीज आगे कुछ सीखना पढ़ना चाहूँगा, तो आप कुछ सजेस्ट कर सकते हो पढ़ाई के लिए भी और बाद में जिसमें जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटी भी हो। थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू मिस्टर हम्बल स्पीकर। नेक्स्ट मिस्टर ID Srinivas.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you. I'm back on this spaces. I must disclose everyone ki I'm in that great bear market camp, but I find lot of value in what Sainik sir, what Vipin bhai, and Vinay bhai say and tweet. So learning is from everybody, and experienced investors and traders. Doesn't matter if they're bullish or bearish. I think सीखने को बहुत है. तो एक चीज सैनिक सर आपको बोलना है सर, हार्ड बेयर्स लाइक I'm a amateur trader, but I'm a hard bear, so there's a big difference. but we are actually short term bullish because वो कैसा great bear market जहाँ massive bear rally ना आए. So I think bears are going to play long till at least 17,000 Nifty. Uske baad we will see where is the breakdown and those kind of things, and I'll follow some of the experts I believe in. My, lot of my economic reasons.
Sorry, everybody got muted.